Today we're breaking down Mbappe, his game from different tactical perspectives. We'll talk about what style of play he prefers, what mistakes he tends to make, what type of forward he really is, and whether he can even be considered a pure striker. Let's go. All clips are taken from the tactical camera to make it easier to analyze his positioning and decisions. We'll start with his off-ball movements when Real Madrid have possession in their own half. The ball is on Real's flank. Mbappe doesn't narrow his position or shift toward the ball side, leaving open space to attack the depth. But he doesn't make that run. As a result, he doesn't offer any passing option, and Real lose possession. Next moment, Real recovers the ball, and once again there's a corridor for him to run into. But instead of making that forward run and receiving the ball in a progressive position, Mbappe drops between the lines, exactly into the zone covered by an opponent. A pass to him in this situation is impossible. That passing lane is closed. Instead of offering himself in behind, his positioning is poor, and again Real lose the ball. Still, Mbappe can make those depth runs. Despite his tactical flaws, he occasionally tries to do it. In this next episode, Courtois plays a long pass forward. Mbappe gets into that area and tries to hold up the ball. But that's not really his profile. He doesn't protect possession well with his body and loses the ball. Another example, Real intercept the ball and launch a counterattack. Instead of sprinting into space behind the defensive line, Mbappe once again takes a few steps back to receive between the lines. And this becomes a pattern. He's a player who prefers to get the ball facing goal, drop slightly deeper, and then drive forward himself, combining with teammates. That's the essence of Mbappe's profile. He can attack depth, but doesn't enjoy doing it often. In this clip, we see him again positioning himself between the lines in a free pocket, receiving the ball facing the opponent's goal, and trying to beat defenders on the dribble, unsuccessfully this time. Mbappe frequently drifts toward Real's left attacking flank. We can see how he tries to increase the distance between himself and the opponent's center back to create more space for himself. At that point, he essentially takes up a left-winger position while Vinicius moves inside. That allows Mbappe to stay more unmarked and receive the ball freely on the flank. These tactical rotations make sense, but his natural tendency to move left is very strong, and we'll discuss that later. In this episode, he delivers a key pass, and Real almost score. As a striker, look where Mbappe operates. Almost always in the left half space. That's his zone, consistently. From a tactical perspective, this can make sense. When a striker drifts into the left half space, he drags a defender out of position. But this only works when Real's midfielders or wingers attack the depth that Mbappe vacates. As we can see here, there's no one making that run. Mbappe drops deeper, but no one exploits the space he opens. A late run does happen, but it's too slow and already covered. Mbappe receives the ball on the wing, facing the goal, and stays there. Looking at his heat map, it's clear that most of his touches come on the left side and in central zones. He rarely moves to the right. Another key trait of Mbappe, aside from his tendency to drop deeper and use his phenomenal dribbling, is how he uses give-and-go combinations. In this clip, he beats one defender, passes the ball to a teammate, and immediately makes a run into open space. The return pass doesn't come, and he's blocked. But the idea is clear. He wants to receive again and combine quickly. And of course, we can't ignore his ability to simply take the ball, beat 2 or 3 defenders on his own, and create a chance from nothing. Next, let's talk about Kylian Mbappe's off-ball movement in possession when the ball is in the final third. Once again, he doesn't act like a real center forward. Even just look at his positioning. Right here, he drops into the same zone as his teammate, in this case Arda Güler, and both of them end up occupying exactly the same area. A proper striker should be positioned centrally. I've shown where a number 9 should actually be. But Mbappe positions himself between the lines instead. At least Güler reads the situation, drifts away, and creates a passing option. And this is exactly where Mbappe shows what he likes to do and how he likes to play. A pass between the lines, quick combination play, and then an immediate run in behind. You can see his intention. He's ready for it. Mbappe is excellent in link-up play. He can combine with teammates in one-touch passing sequences. Watch how he threads a brilliant pass through to Vinicius, who nearly scores. His link-up quality is genuinely high. Again, we see him receiving between the lines, playing a clever backheel pass in one touch. And as a result, Real win a penalty, which Mbappe himself converts. But let's be honest, this is not the positioning of a true striker. Mbappe doesn't act like or prepare himself to attack finishing zones. Look how often he drifts close to the flank. In this moment, a typical center forward should be around the yellow zone, behind the center back, ready to attack the near or far post or arrive in the second wave. Instead, Mbappe moves out of the box entirely, receives outside the penalty area, and once again wants the ball facing the goal to combine and attack depth after a short exchange. Mbappe is a combination player. He wants to play give-and-go football. Here's another clip. He again drifts toward the flank. From that position, he can't really do anything dangerous. And here lies Real Madrid's main problem. Mbappe is their striker, yet there's no one ready to attack crosses or cutbacks. Look, 5 opposition defenders in the box and 0 real players. How are you supposed to score like that? When Vinicius gets into the penalty area, imagine he beats his marker. What next? He's forced toward the byline with no one to cross to, because the central striker isn't there, and others aren't making runs either. That's the key problem with Real, and it's been visible for 2 years. Mbappe is constantly pulled toward the left flank. Even when he tries to attack depth, he still ends up drifting left again, looking to combine, receive the ball, and play short passes with teammates. Here again, the combination breaks down, but that's all he does. Combine, combine, combine. Even when a real midfielder receives the ball in central space, facing the opponent's goal, with no pressure, the perfect chance for Mbappe to make a curved run in behind, he doesn't. He just stays wide. No runs into the box. Again, he positions himself in front of the penalty area, duplicating Vinicius's position. How can you play like that? Isn't this something the head coach or individual analysts should address? It looks disastrous from the tactical camera. Truly awful. Here's another sequence. There's a clear chance to attack depth, and he doesn't take it. That kind of movement helps your team progress the ball, especially for a player as technical as he is. You're one of the most gifted players in the world. Just make that run, receive in behind, and create danger. But Mbappe doesn't. He often just walks around, showing himself between the lines. Look again. He could attack depth, but does he? He just positions himself to receive and combine in a give and go. He does it rarely. Finally, a moment where a real midfielder has the ball in the center, lifts his head, and spots Mbappe. A perfect situation to attack depth. And this time, Mbappe does it. He finally makes that movement, ready to attack the space. Thank God it finally happens. But the pass doesn't come, and once again, he drifts toward the flank, as far from a striker's zone as possible. At least there are occasional moments when he shows those vertical runs. He also demonstrates good awareness of the offside line, keeping himself onside while timing the movement. When he does attack depth, he looks electric, sharp and explosive. Notice how he reads his teammate's body position, makes brief eye contact, and instantly darts into space without any big gestures or obvious cues. No exaggerated body lean, no signaling. That's a very valuable skill, something worth developing further. With that kind of movement, he can gain those crucial extra meters inside the box. But again, the issue remains. Too often, when a real player receives the ball freely, and Mbappe could make a curved run inside or outside to attack depth, he doesn't. He stays stuck near his half space. It looks really poor. And then, when the ball shifts wide, Real start combining, and Vinicius gets into a crossing position. He looks up and realizes there's no striker, no one in the box. Mbappe at that moment is standing somewhere on the opposite side, completely out of the play. He needs to develop more intensity, more continuity, to stay engaged throughout the attack. The box is completely empty. In this situation, Mbappe should be positioned right where I've indicated, just in front of the opposing fullback, ready to attack the cross. But Real don't even attempt a cross, because they know Mbappé isn't there. There's simply no one to aim for. Once again, we see him getting the ball between the lines. Vinicius moves wide to take on his man, and Mbappé doesn't even try to run into the box or half space. He just stays outside, trying another give and go with Vinicius. And once again, it doesn't come off. Now it's time to talk about Mbappé's positioning in finishing zones, and how he moves, or fails to move, inside them. Let's start with the shot map, the areas where Kylian Mbappé has taken his shots this season. And just look at this. A large number of his attempts come from outside the penalty area. He's taken 12 shots from the cutback/second phase zone, only 2 shots from inside the 6-yard box, 6 shots from the half space, and 0 shots from the far post zone on the opposite side. That already tells us a lot about his style of play. Take this example. Once again, Mbappé moves toward the ball, completely forgetting that he's supposed to be the center forward of Real Madrid, the one who should be staying centrally and preparing to attack the finishing zones, near post, far post, or cutback area. Instead, there's nobody inside the box. Mbappé comes short, combines with teammates, and Real lose the ball. And that explains why he has so many shots from outside the box, because he comes there himself. He wants to receive the ball far from the opponent's goal. The second key shooting zone for Mbappé is around the penalty spot, the cutback area. He often positions himself exactly there. Watch this sequence. The ball is wide, and Mbappé doesn't attack the space between the center backs. He doesn't make runs to the near post, far post, or central goal area. Instead, he positions himself deeper, waiting for a pass around the penalty spot, away from traffic, away from physical duels. That's because center backs are focused on protecting the goal mouth. Mbappé tries to exploit the space near the penalty box. Here's another moment. Vinicius gets the ball on the wing. A perfect chance for Mbappé to sprint into a finishing position because a cross is clearly coming. But even then, he doesn't attack the box. He once again drops off, trying to receive the ball outside the penalty area, facing the goal. The result? When Vinicius crosses, there's not a single Real Madrid player in the finishing zone. And look where Mbappé is. Standing on the edge of the box. Even the first player reacting to the rebound isn't him. The striker is completely out of position. That's his playing style. Mbappé doesn't want to fight inside the crowd. He prefers to receive the ball cleanly, shift it from one foot to the other, and strike. Now here's another longer sequence starting with Mbappé. Instead of attacking depth, the ball is open, the timing is perfect. He drops deeper, occupies his teammate's space, and positions himself between the lines. Instead of sprinting into the box, he drifts toward the flank again. From there, he can't possibly reach the central finishing zones. At best, he'll be in the second wave cutback area. He's too far to attack the near post or the far post. And if he somehow reaches the near one, the shot angle will be awkward. Now let's highlight where Mbappé really shines. Transition phases. Thanks to his pace and technical quality, he becomes extremely dangerous when Real win the ball and attacks quickly. Here, Real intercept in midfield. Mbappé positions himself between the 2 center backs, ready to receive and push the ball forward with his first touch. He's brilliant at that, controlling and advancing the ball in one motion, setting himself up for a shot. That's elite technical ability, and he scores. Again, in another transition, he runs into open space and finishes clinically. That's his ideal context. He doesn't always make the right decisions, even in transitions. Real regain possession. Mbappé starts offside, sprints back to get onside, and now he's in perfect position. The right back has dropped the line, the teammate is facing goal, ready to play the through ball. It's a dream opportunity to take 2 steps onside, then attack the depth again. But Mbappé makes the worst possible choice. He drops between the lines instead of attacking depth. He occupies his teammate's space, and that's it. Attack over. One of the cardinal tactical sins in football. You never do that, especially at this level. There was absolutely no reason to drop there. The counterattack collapses, and Mbappe ends up just playing a sideways pass to the wing. Now, one more important thing to note in Mbappe's movement, his false body movement. That's when he shows that he's about to run one way, then sharply changes direction to unbalanced defenders. He uses this trick effectively to shake off markers. Look at this moment. He fakes a movement in one direction, then instantly cuts the other way. The pass doesn't reach him, but the movement itself is a positive action. And that's what players should do more often. Positive micro-actions that create long-term impact. Another example, Real have an open ball. Mbappé first sprints in behind to drag his marker away, then suddenly drops between the lines to receive and combine. That's an excellent pattern. He buys himself those extra couple of meters with smart false body movement. To sum it up, Kylian Mbappé is not a pure striker. He's more of a false nine or a winger who gravitates toward his favorite left side, wants to receive the ball deeper between the lines, ideally facing the opponent's goal, and then uses his phenomenal dribbling technique to take on 2, 3, even 4 defenders before shooting. He also likes quick combinations in a give-and-go style, followed by runs into depth. In finishing zones, he often positions himself around the penalty spot, arriving as the second wave rather than attacking the 6-yard box, avoiding physical battles with center backs. Tactically, he could definitely play smarter and use his chances better, but his exceptional technical ability keeps him at the top level. His value comes from the way he drops deeper to get on the ball and showcase his technique, unlike many other strikers who live inside the box. Make sure to leave a like and share your thoughts about this Mbappé analysis. Maybe I picked the wrong 2 matches. Also, if you're a professional player and want to improve your game, message me on Instagram. We'll arrange a free trial session and go through the tactical aspects of your performance. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more football analysis content.